Okay, welcome everyone. Will start lesson one. Today we are going to start a new module, which is law for accounting. A couple of you already know me. My name is Anjum Satar, and I'm going to share with you. And we'll start with LO1. We have three learning outcomes. We'll go through each lesson, one learning outcome, and the last lesson will be about assignment discussion. And today lesson will be focused about learning outcome one. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll send you all relevant resources available on Moodle as well. Please make sure follow the Moodle page. And we have a contract law book as well available on Moodle. So it's quite good too, which I'll share with you as well during lesson. And those. So we'll start. Welcome everyone. Please feel free if you have any question, you can drop me email as well, and we can book one-to-one if you need to, as well extras. So please just let us know. Drop emails to admin@ukversity, or just drop me email anyam@ukversity.co.uk, and I'll try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. So my email. So our learning outcome one, which is about understand the element of law affecting commercial practices and practice, which we'll go through first. That's our LO1. So in the aim of this unit are modules to develop understanding how English law impacts, on business organization and professional accounting practices. Because at the end of the day, if you're accountant, you're doing your own business. So you have to follow the legislation. We have to look around what those legislation are. What is the contract? Contract is the offer and acceptance between two parties, and they should be have a sound mind. So if we are doing contract with someone who has don't have ability to understand, there is a language barrier can be, so that contract can be void. So we need to be make sure, because it's called disability. If someone is a disabled, can't understand, disability not mean the physical disability. So we need to be make sure in a legal practice we have clear a client understand what we are entering into contract. So always good to be pleased when you start any subject, always good to be draw a little line, put scale 1 to 10, reflect what you know, and at the end you reflect what you learn really. Is anything we have improved? Can you see the slides? Is it okay? Yes. Okay, so we need to be always good to be reflect your current knowledge about the contract law. So we can indicative content, what we supposed to be learn under each learning outcome, elements of valid contract, what we supposed to be, what's supposed to be in a contract, how contract may be terminated. Of course, when the contract is fulfilled, like a 1 year contract, few months, so then of course, after the job, contract can automatically finish or automatically renewed as well, depend upon the contract term and condition. So always read the term and condition of the contract. Remedies for the breach of the contract is paying damages to the, because it's a civil law, contract come under civil law. Under civil law, it can be penalties, because it's not come, if it's a that's harm to individuals or things, it can leads to the criminal law. And but we need a bundle of evidence to charge someone. Okay, relevant the case laws, of course, we can look around the case laws, law of agency, agent, and agency theory. Like, director of the company is the agent of the shareholder in the public limited company, because they don't have a shares in the company itself. So director can be agent of the shareholders, and the relationship between them we call agency relationships. Yes, and in the contract, director of the company, the CEO of the company need to be work in the best interest of the shareholder, because ultimately shareholder wealth maximization, we need to be work on it. And we'll go through the law of tort, what is the constitute liabilities of negligence misstatements. We'll go through various liabilities, remedies, and relevant case laws. That will be key focus in. So first we're looking today 1.1, we're looking the elements of contract agreement. So what is a contract? Contract law is a component of the law of obligation, which itself is an element of civil law. Contract is an agreement entered into the it can be voluntarily one or more person legal entities, like at the moment big issues, a lot of people we think contract need to be written. No, it's contract can be verbal. If somebody say, oh, I'm calling from this and we're offering this, and you say yes, please send me, and sometime it's you, because it's a verbally become a contract, a offer and acceptance happen, and you have a capacity, you're a sound mind, and that's become a contract. The intention of the parties is to be created a legal binding obligation to all parties involved that can be enforced. So it's enforced by law. So this provides the parties with the protections, yes, from other parties who may fail. Because if we agree what we're supposed to, like you're supposed to be deliver the goods on time, you didn't. So it's a contract law, contractual obligation, which would be detriment of others, involved. So we need to be look around these, and we need to be, so always we understand the elements. So when we're looking contract, there should be offer, there should be acceptance, and between that it become agreement. There should be a consideration, what we, there should be a terms, yes, term and conditions always in a contract. So that's which we can look around these in commercial words. Okay, different clauses which we go through by secretary's rules, which is by law enforced, yeah, are some unfavorable contract terms, yes, and consumer, because the Consumer Act 1979, and it's been updated in the following years. So those will need to be, consumer have the rights, yes. So breach, a breach, will pay the damages. Like if the good is not fit for purpose, even it's not written, but the consumer has the right to return. Like you bought a contract of 3 network, and some area 3 network service is not coming, and they're saying you are in 2 years contract, but the goods not fit for purpose, because if you can't call it, and you're supposed to use internet, you may call, that's the reason you have a mobile contract with free. If you can't do it, you have a right to terminate that contract because the good is not fit for purpose. So of course, that company should listen it, but of course sometimes it's difficult to, but you have to collect the evidence. So breach, damages, and other remedies which we can look at. Okay, when we say law, it can be public law and private law. So when we'll say contract, contract come under the private law. Tort, property, trust, family law, civil partnership, and all these come under the private law. Constitutional, administrative, criminal, yes, like where you're not following GDPR for support, that's a criminal matters, because it's a legislation passed in the parliament, and if we not follow it, it's become a crime. So what is a contract? Explain. Contract is the simpler definition, is a promise to enforce by law. Promise make we do something or refrain from doing something, yes, and making a contract. So thus we can look around 7 essential elements. So we can look around meeting of the minds, consideration, capacity, legalities, and sometimes the written documents. So a contract, you have to consideration, intentions, capacity. If you're intentionally you're telling it that good is expired, but actually you want to sell it, so that is a false information. Contract can be determined void because it's not enforced by law. So employment contract, lease agreements, insurance agreement, financial, that's a huge area really. So that's why we have a, do we know PPI, payment protection insurance? Yes. So we heard about PPI. So what is a PPI? Why, bank is paying us damages? What do you think? Is there any contractual problem was payment protection insurance? Yes, a lot of, the claim in the past and still happening because the bank sold the insurance without telling the client they combine as a product. They're not really sold. So each you borrow money, you have to PPI you have to buy in the past. But that was the separate product. So the contract, there was an offer, there was acceptance, but the legal consideration of the PPI not obtained from the. So that's the reason is bank have to pay the money back to the clients with the interest. So we can resolve these dispute, we can regulate the contractual obligation, we can look around self-regulatory with the majority of the contract require intervention. The court make no consideration whether the contract was fair or not. If it was agreed, it should be enforced because have the both party have the capacities. Despite this, on some occasion, the courts are willing to from the principle which will are the contractual freedom. Yes, so we can look around abuse of bargaining power. Sometimes we need to be look around who was really in power and enforce on others because in law is equalities. Agreement law and the legal definition. Agreement is meeting the minds or the mutual understanding between two or more persons. That's which we can look around right and duties, who's responsible for what. So there are other elements as well which we need to look around, like you posting a letters and the dates and the time we agree things. That's other elements which we can look around. The an agreement is an understanding and arrangement, yes, reached between two or more parties, that which we need to be enforceable in the court of law. Okay, example of standard form of contract which we can unilateral and bilateral, two types. Unilateral contract is a contract or agreement in which offers promise to the pay after the occurrence of the specific act. An example of the unilateral contract is the insurance policy contract, which is usually partially unilateral. Yes. What is the bilateral is they also call the clearing, trade, or the side deal, refer to an agreement between the party as stated aims to keep the trade deficit. It's very depending on the type of the agreement and the scope which we can look around. An agreement, bilateral agreement, can be take sometimes finalized. So we can look around unilateral and bilateral. Only one party assume an obligation under the contract. That's the unilateral. Bilateral, both parties obligation under the contract. So that's which we can in the law we can look at. So when we'll say agreement and contract, an arrangement usually informal between two or more parties, and contract is a formal agreement between two or more parties. Yes, that can be validity, which we can look around the based on the mutual acceptance by both parties. Mutual acceptance, both parties involved. Does it need to be written? No, except some specific kind of contract where you need it written, but it can be verbal, can be contract. Consideration, no consideration in agreement, but in the contract is needed consideration, offer, acceptance, exchange. Yes, legal effect and agreement. The lack of any required elements of the contract made no legal effect. So contract is a legal binding, then it can be the contract. So as we discuss, unilateral and bilateral involve parties. One party in unilateral and bilateral is two parties are legally accountable. Like you're supposed to make the payment and the other party is supposed to deliver the service. So the form of Reimbursement can be, there is reward in unilateral contract. There are no rewards in the bilateral contract. There are, could be, however be the party upon signing the agreement. We can look around time frame. Yes, that can be varied in unilateral. There is no strict, the time frame in unilateral. The promise may extend the time period anytime, since there are only one in the obligation. There are the deadline in the bilateral contract, which are agreed upon the start of the contract and the finish of the contract, or the completion of the contract. Activeness, which we can look around, not give the active, until the promiser deliver, but bilateral is active upon signing the agreement. That date will be done.
Can I just ask one question?
Sure, please.
Under the last row, it says singing the here, active upon singing the agreement. Why do you need to sing?
It should be signing.
Or signing. Okay. Okay.
I think so. Is a picture, whoever
Yeah.
created, that's Harry. Okay, so we can look around offer, agreement, and acceptance. That's the key. Invitation to treat. What is the invitation to treat? Sometime one party invited and you see the things, and it's not a contract until you accept it. Yes, this is the invitation to treat, like advertising is the invitation to treat.
Yeah.
So that's, which we look, these. We can look around offer, acceptance as consideration we mentioned earlier. We can look around the terms. Yes, these, within the contract, different section of the contract we have, and law as well. Breach, which you may be damages we are entitled, remedies we are entitled, it's not on time. Yes, breaches can lead to the compensation, or even it can be charged, other under the criminal, because that was a promise, but the law indicates, it should be the term and condition met. So then we need to be charged under the certain laws. The law of the contract has been delivered over the years. Yeah, decision for the judges regarding how the business should be done, help, to reduce the conflict and ensure, transaction are conducted. So because in accounts, we have a client, so we have to make sure with the clients we have a contract. Yeah, it's not always good to be a written, because it can be verbal, but it's very difficult to prove in the court. So yes, you giving this evidence to me, I'm as accountant submitting your return, I'm relying the information you have provided me. I can't really investigate is it true or false. I'm relying on the information or the bank statement, whatever you give me the evidence to do the return. In my legal mean or legal knowledge, I can only advise you. Yes, but you can't really, because if you have a CPD up to date record and you have that knowledge, nobody can go against you then. So we can look at exactly who the contractual obligation. Oh, we can look around construction obligation can be included in the contract. We can look around when might, the contract be void or voidable, discharge of the obligation at the points when we can, and remedies what will be authorized. So then we have video 2 which we can watch. Yes, if you want to look around the contract and the element. So just I quickly show you. Sorry, hope so will work.
Contracts are everywhere, not just some huge formal.
So what time will we meet tomorrow?
Okay. So what I'll do, what is best for you?
Anytime at all. Even if you want to meet even earlier, then I'm more than capable.
Okay. So what we'll do, I think so we can do our session around, can I say, same time? We'll keep a 1:30,
Okay.
because, I have a other session, so that's, a bit, I wasn't aware of things. So
Okay.
I'll communicate everyone, I'll amend, and I will send you email as well.
Sure. All right.
Then, because that's only this session is clashing with other. Between 9 and 10, I have other session with the UK Versity. So that's the only reason. Otherwise, I need to move around.
Will
Okay.
you send me by email this PDF of the presentation LO1 new?
Yes, I can send you, but I can show you as well. So do you have access on our Moodle page?
I don't know. I think I need to find out.
Okay, no problem. I can share with you now in the chat box if you want.
Okay.
So just 1 second, I can share with you now, so you can get it straight away. So just one on my computer. Okay, give me one. I'll send you all, for this subject, and you can download.
Okay.
And even you can look around advanced with the book. Just 1 second. Um, Sorry, it's taking just 1 minute. Law of accounting. Okay, yes, I shared with you now. So when you click, you can download all.
It's quite a lot.
So welcome. And we'll speak you tomorrow, and have a nice time.
Okay. How do I download all of them in one go?
Or maybe you have to do one by one.
Okay.
So if you
So,
click LO1, and you can download, yes,
okay.
as file. That's the today lesson. And if you want to click the contract law book by Elliot, yes, that's, you can download.
Which one is the contract law book?
Oh,
It
yes,
says,
here you see.
oh yes, second from the last.
One, two, third file, yes, from the top. First was the assignment discussion, which we'll do. I send you all resources, but just leave it. Second was accounting for law. That's, is all the specification unit. Third file is the contract law, yes, which is a book. And fourth is the LO1, then LO2, LO3, LO4. We have 4 LOs.
Quickly trying to download them before you go. Otherwise, the screen disappears.
No, that's fine. We'll stay in. So that's, the key.
Okay. All of them have changed green. So that means I've managed to download 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, that's all. All my resources which I have used.
Okay,
Other links are available on the Moodle as well, which I can show you.
please.
Okay. Thank you. Is it fine now?
Yeah, I've got all 7. So
Oh,
Moodle, where would I find Moodle?
just 1 second. Oh, I just need to log in myself. Share with you. Okay, so when you log in a Moodle, yes.
Okay, so going to lmsukversity.co.uk.
Yes, so hope you have a login details, yes. And if you look under IFA Direct, yes.
Yeah.
Law for accounting, yes, here.
Yeah.
And if you scroll down,
Okay.
hope you can find all the bit and pieces.
Right. Okay,
Yes.
so just need to log in into UK Versity with the login details. If I don't have it, then I'll
Oh,
check.
yes, you send emails to admin, they can send you. If it's a password issue sometime. Yes, and you will see here all the case laws and relevant resources, yes.
Okay.
And you will see their assignment guidance, yes, contract laws, if you're dealing with, yes. And everything there. Okay.
Thank you.
So of course we'll carry on doing, and each lessons, you will get separate like slides you have, we have,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
book, all other resources.
Okay. So for tonight, I just recap what you've shown me today. Read up on that, and then
Yes,
start
it's a
preparing for tomorrow.
good practice, which you can, if you any terminology you think, you can go through the book as well. That's quite good.
Yeah. And then you'll send me a link for tomorrow's lesson, 2:30.
Yes, which is yes, sure, I will send you. I can, if you want, I can send you now. Just 1 second. Give me 1 minute. I can amend it now. I think so. I am just 1 second. Sorry about this, slightly slow. Tomorrow. Yes, it's fine. And I can too.
Yeah, it's just a bit slow. I refreshed my mailbox in
No
Outlook.
problem. What I did, I amend it,
Okay.
and I'll send you in your WhatsApp the link, so that will stay there.
Okay.
Just 1 second. My computer is slow. It's the same link, but I changed the time.
Okay, fair enough.
This should be for in a minute. Okay, here is the link. Yes,
Okay.
that's
That's
half
perfect.
past. So
Perfect. Thank you so much.
thank you. Have a nice time, and I'll speak to you tomorrow then. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.